Hello, and welcome to today's edition of Talking to a Biologist. Today we're with Dr. John Markham from the Department of Biological Sciences. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what brought you here to the University of Manitoba and why you first became interested in being a biologist.
Well, I first became interested in being a biologist, I guess, back in high school. Where I grew up, if you had an aptitude for science, you either went into engineering or medicine, and I wasn't interested in that at all. And it was really a guidance counselor at high school who sort of showed me that there was all sorts of opportunities, different courses you could take. So I did a bachelor's degree in Ontario and a PhD at UBC in forestry, and I came here about 10 years ago.
So what is your area of research now that you're here at the U of M?
I'm a plant ecologist, and what I'm really interested in is how plants interact with their environment, and that's both their physical environment and their biotic environment, the other organisms they interact with. And I like ecology because it takes you out of a laboratory situation where you're looking at organisms in isolation, and you're really looking at how organisms have to live their lives in a natural environment and interact with all sorts of stresses and interact with all other kinds of organisms.
So you do most of your work then out in Manitoba. Which area of the province have you been working in recently?
So we work, actually this year we're working all over the province. We've worked as far north as Lynn Lake, and we work as far south as the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve down in Tolstoy. We do a fair bit of work out in the eastern part of the province as well. We're working on rehabilitating mine sites. We're looking at some basic forest ecology, and we're also looking at some grassland ecology.
So in terms of our understanding of ecosystems, in order to counteract humans' influence on the environment, like a mine, we need to better understand it. So is that part of your work in terms of how do we clean up a mine?
Yeah, part of the work is very basic, trying to understand, well, what are the problems encountered by organisms? And another part of the work, more recent part, is really just getting down to brass tacks of actually doing the remediation. So moving large quantities of material and reshaping the landscape, and then trying to actually have a real impact on how to rehabilitate areas.
So in your time here at the U of M, as well as in your graduate school, what sort of undergraduate student do you think would be best suited to this sort of work? Do they need to be outdoorsy, or do they need to be math smart, or what sort of thing is the perfect ecologist?
The perfect ecologist is somebody who's really interested in what they want to do. Somebody who wants to be outside, somebody who wants to work with organisms in their environment, and somebody who is going to be able to work in a way that, well, you can deal with the problems as they come up. Because one of the things you learn in ecology is nothing really ever goes the way you want it to. And so if you can work with that fact, if you can work with the idea that when I try an experiment and it doesn't work out, I'm going to try something else, and you have an enthusiasm for that, well, that's the perfect student, really.
And so what would you say to a eager first-year biology student about studying ecosystems and maybe getting outside the perimeter highway?
Well, I think it's the thing you really want to pursue. If you're interested in organisms in their natural environment, I think the best thing is to spend time outdoors. Also approach people. There's lots of opportunities out there where there's volunteer opportunities. A faculty member would be more than happy to have a really keen student come and approach them and say, hey, I'm interested in this area, can I work with you? And we'd be happy to have somebody come and at least talk to us and start pursuing the ideas that they could start a working relationship.
That is good advice. Thank you all very much. We'll return you now to your regular scheduled lecture. I'd like to thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much.